In this video, I'm going to discuss with you my fragrance haul while I was in Europe, traveling to Spain and Portugal. We're going to do this all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time landing on this channel and or you've been watching videos here for some time and still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell icon so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. I want to also mention I have a little bit of a under the weather kind of a feeling, so I have a throat lozenge in my mouth, so it might seem like I'm chewing gum because a couple times I had some in my mouth and never warned. People were like, take your gum out of your mouth. I'm like, well, I don't usually chew gum while I do videos. But anyway, I do have a couple of lozenges here laying around, which I might put in my mouth. And also, I want to let you know, this is going to be a long video. So if you're not into the long video idea, you might want to leave now because I'm anticipating about 45 minutes here for this video. But recently I went to Europe, and the countries I went to are Spain and Portugal. I basically flew with Norwegian Air, which is flies out of San Francisco, actually not even San Francisco, in Oakland, California. And they have their new Dreamliner Airlines, and we flew into London, Gatwick Airport. It doesn't fly into Heathrow, unfortunately, but I ended up getting their upper class tickets, and we had a really good value on them, so ended up doing that. And it was actually a little better than flying coach because you had a little more leg room and you only had one person sitting next to you rather than you're sitting with a bunch of people, which is really nice. It was a little more relaxing, but we sat in the middle row where there's 3 people sitting, so you had that. But coming back, it was 2 people and we had the window, so it was really cool. But from here to London, it was like a 9-hour or 9.5 hour flight, somewhere around there. So it was really quick. They have a route where they go from the north. And so flew into London. Unfortunately, the pilot flew faster, so we ended up flying there quicker, getting there quicker. So we ended up getting there in 9 hours, I remember, because we had like a 6 hour or 6.5 hour layover, which was a bummer, we didn't realize. Now we had a 7.5 hour layover before we ended up going to Madrid. And my goal was to go to Madrid, and so that's where we were starting our trip. But laying a layover for 6.5 hours was a little too long to begin with, so we ended up having an extra hour, 7.5 hours. But what to do on a layover in the airport? So London has a great perfume scene in the shops and things like that, but I unfortunately wasn't going into the London city of London. I was stuck in Gatwick Airport. First time in Gatwick. I've been to Heathrow a couple times. And I just roamed around, basically. A friend hung out in the lounge, and I roamed around. This was Christmas Day of all places, because we got to London on Christmas Day, so it was not that busy, which was kind of cool. Pretty much had the shops to myself. So I was looking around and studying what Gatwick Airport had, and I was actually preparing to buy fragrances on my return, because on my return I was going to end up in Gatwick again. So I was studying to see what they had. Cool thing was they had the Chanel exclusives there, like exclusives, and I can't remember the price, but it was definitely more. I mean, it was definitely less than what we pay here. It was somewhere around 275 pounds or 250 pounds, I can't remember, but I know that I was saving about $50 to $60 after taxes, I think, or maybe even before taxes, per bottle of 200 ml exclusive. So I was just studying things what they had. They had really cool things, and one of the things I decided to buy at that time was MOLTON Brown. I ended up buying 5 MOLTON Brown fragrances, which I have a video for, you probably already saw or are going to see soon. So I ended up buying the Oud. They have the Tobacco. They have the Russian Leather. They have Bushukan, and then finally Coastal Cypress and Sea Funnel, this one right here. So these were really unique fragrances because they were 50 ml bottles for around 30 pounds, which converted to about $45 per bottle. Here in the States, they retail for $65 plus tax. So I thought that was a good value. I bought those right away. I'm like, you know what? Quit now, no more fragrances until on my return, because I don't want to carry around too many fragrances right off the bat, and your trip is going to be really long, and it's going to be like heavy weight that you're going to have to carry, because we're going to Madrid, then we're driving to various towns in Spain, then driving to Portugal, going to various towns in Portugal, ending up in Lisbon, and from Lisbon taking the train back to Madrid, where we end up at the last part of the trip, and then we fly to London back to San Francisco. So I didn't want to carry too much, so I stopped there, but I did end up getting these 5 bottles. And as you can see, these are kind of small, small boxes, 50 ml bottles like this. And yeah, I mean, it was a good deal. I thought might as well just get it, and maybe I'll wear it during the trip, but I didn't wear any of them. I didn't open it up. In fact, I opened it on the video, so I kept them closed, and that was it. So got to Madrid after the long layover. It was really late, unfortunately, late Christmas Day arriving in Madrid. So we basically spent Christmas in Gatwick Airport. Luckily, the lounge was nice. They had good food and things like that, so we hung out there. But got to Madrid, and then we did tour around Madrid a little bit, and I ended up going to one shop. Aquaflor has a perfume shop in Madrid. So Aquaflor is a Italian brand who is based out of Florence, who I discovered for the first time thanks to Adele, my friend on Facebook, who said, let's go to Aquaflor in Florence when I was there last September. So we went, and they do have this beautiful, beautiful shop there in Madrid. An old pastry or confectionery shop turned into the perfume shop. Gorgeous. I asked for a perfume there, but unfortunately they didn't have the perfume I wanted that I had smelled in the Italian shop. So it was kind of odd that they didn't have all the fragrances there, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because it's not based out of Italy. But I was kind of hoping for that fragrance. Then I got a little sick, but that night after Aquaflor, I ended up going to meet with Oliver Valverde from Oliver & Co. perfume brand. He had just opened up his new shop, and I have a video with him that I shot on my return back to Madrid that you'll see. We're doing a giveaway with that video as well, but you can see his shop. It's very dark and really, really a unique concept for a perfume shop. And if you're into the nightclub scene and things like that, I think you'll like the look of this shop, because I really loved this shop. It was really dark, as I said, with some minimal lighting. So when you watch the video, it's gonna have a challenging time watching the video that I shot with him, because the lighting is really, really low. There's hardly any light in there. So when you walk in, it's completely dark with a couple of lights at the light station where the perfumes are. And he's got around 10 different fragrances. He's got a main line of fragrances, and he's also got 2 kind of different unique perfumes based off of nebulas. It's called the Nebula series. And so we shot the video, so stay tuned for that if it's not aired yet, and see what Oliver & Co. is all about. So those were my only 2 perfume experiences in Madrid. We did some sightseeing and things like that, and of course eating. Eating is big for me when I travel. Love the food of different countries, especially Spanish food. So I had beautiful paella, gazpacho, and various little appetizers and tapas and things like that. And of course the wine and the beer. I absolutely go crazy for that stuff. So that's all very, very important for me. So did that, and then we decided to drive. Well, we didn't decide, we booked it. So we drove out of Madrid on our way to Toledo. Toledo is this beautiful old medieval Spanish town south of Madrid. Spent a night there. Of course, no perfume shopping in these little towns, but if I do accidentally run into a perfume shop, like it's right next to me as I'm walking in the city streets, I'll go in, but I'm not looking for a perfume shop in Toledo of all places. So we did Toledo for one night. It was beautiful, as I said. Very, very medieval, very historic. So if you ever get a chance, go to Toledo, because everything is like really like you stepped in back in the medieval times. It's amazing. The church there is beautiful, really, really beautiful. So it's one of the most beautiful churches I've ever been into. So definitely highly recommend it. So we did Toledo for one night, and then we drove to Segovia. Now in Segovia, there's a big old aqueduct built by the Romans. So big aqueduct. Like, this thing is gigantic. Takes up a whole area. So this is one of the most unique things to see in all of the world. I think aqueducts are one of the most amazing. I've seen one in the south of France, Pont du Gard, I think it's called. This was a long time ago. And then this is another one that I've seen. I've seen other ones where I've not gotten close to it, but this one in Segovia was amazing. So it's like right under pedestrian areas, whereas the one in France, in the south of France, was out in the country. Like there was no like pedestrian. It was just, so you had to get there. There's a river running under it, but this one was like above pedestrians. So Segovia, and then we went to Salamanca. Salamanca was this beautiful medieval, or maybe, I'm not sure if it was medieval, I think it was medieval though. Old town, very, very young energy. I think there was a university there, or an old university that's been around since the 1300s from what I remember. And there I decided to roam around the streets a little bit, and I found a Sephora. And here in Sephora at Salamanca is a brand I discovered that I'd never heard about called Drops Barcelona. So Drops Barcelona is a perfume brand based out of Barcelona. This is the woman there told me it's only exclusive to Sephora stores in Spain, but after that I found out that it's also in a couple of other countries in Europe. But it's these like 15 different fragrances that they decant for you in these like atomizers, and you've got a 15 ml, 30 ml, 50 ml, and 100 ml, and the 100 ml is like 39.95 euros. Great prices, and some of the scents were really, really lovely. So unfortunately I didn't buy any of those fragrances because I was just not sure at the time. Later on I Instagrammed about it, and people were like really interested in, uniquely excited about them. And then at that time I found out it's available at some other countries as well, not necessarily Spain. So it turned out the Sephora associates were a little misinformed about where it is exclusive or not. Now I'm not sure if Drops Barcelona will make it to the States, but hopefully it does. But it's like niche perfumery right at Sephora, and they decant them out of these bottles for you in these little atomizers. So I found it to be very, very unique. So Salamanca was a beautiful town, as I said, and that was spent one night, not too many days, because the majority of the trip wanted to spend time in Portugal, a country that I had never been to. I've been to Spain 3 times in the past, never to Madrid and the cities I went to, and this was my 4th trip to Spain, but Portugal I had never been to. So finally we drove out of Salamanca to Portugal, and we got to the Douro Valley, and I can't remember the name of the city, but there was a hotel that was right on the river. So rainy time we got there, but sort of a beautiful experience because the river and the rain and the view from the hotel was quite amazing. The wine, very, very tasty, very inexpensive. If you ever travel to Spain or Portugal or even France, wine is cheap. Like in the glasses, you pay 2, 3, 4, 5 euros, and you get the most amazing wine. So bring your wine drinking appetite, because these countries, even Italy, like the wines, are very, very inexpensive. If you like wine, those are the countries to go to. Portugal, Spain, France, Italy. They have some of the best wines. I'm a red wine drinker, so I always buy red, and these countries have really, really great red wines. And of course, there's Germany and Austria. They have the white wines covered there. So spent some time in the Douro Valley. Then we drove to Porto, Portugal. And in Porto, still didn't do any perfume shopping because I didn't really find perfume shops there. And by this time it was New Year's, shops were closed. So I had a great time in Porto. Rained a lot, unfortunately, but not over the top rain, just a little bit rain. And by the time we were done with Porto, the rain was kind of like on its way out as well. But we drove down south towards Lisbon, and we stopped into a little town called OUDH. And here, old beautiful medieval, I think it's medieval, I don't remember the era of the history, but it looked medieval to me. But really, really gorgeous little town. If you ever make it to Lisbon, it's really close to OUDH. You just go north for like about an hour and you'll get there. But don't go perfume shopping there because there's no perfume shopping, but go souvenir shopping and just go there to just go from one little shop to another and go drinking and things like that. So OUDH has a castle which is turned into a hotel. In fact, both Spain and Portugal have castles that have become hotels, and I love those. So I stayed in a castle hotel in OUDH, which was really cool. It's called Posada. And I forgot the name of the ones in Spain, unfortunately. It's been a while since I've stayed in the castles in Spain, but this is called the Posada, and I think that was really a beautiful, beautiful experience. A little pricey, but you get to stay in an old castle, and then you get to dine in this beautiful old castle. And it's surrounded by vineyards and beautiful, just gorgeous setting, just a gorgeous, gorgeous setting. Highly recommend this town. It's a really, really peaceful, quiet little town. Totally worth going. So that was OUDH. And finally we got to Lisbon, and that's where I started doing a little more perfume shopping, because in Lisbon it's a big city. There's niche perfumeries. So Lisbon was really, really cool. I absolutely love Lisbon. It reminds me a lot of San Francisco. And Lisbon has similar things to San Francisco because it had a devastating earthquake. In the 1700s, it had an earthquake that wiped the city completely down. Like 85% of the city was demolished, burned, and tsunami, all that good stuff. San Francisco had the 1906 earthquake, and we had the fire. Of course, it demolished most of the city, but that's one of the things. It has 7 hills like San Francisco, plus it has like a bridge like the Golden Gate Bridge, so it has similarities to San Francisco. Hilly, lots of hills, so it's very similar to San Francisco, and I like that about it. Plus it has the trolleys. That's also another thing. We have cable cars here. Very, very similar. I absolutely loved Lisbon. Lisbon was really, really cool. I could go back there and spend more time because I felt like I was rushed, because you know, when you're going from one place to another, there's too much to see. But I would love to go back to Lisbon and just spend some time in Lisbon. But I went to a perfume shop called Embassy Niche Perfumery. So Ricardo is the owner of Embassy Niche Perfumery. I think he owns it with somebody else. And he basically showed me the entire collection of fragrances there. He's got Tower perfumes, and he's got PROFUMUM ROMA, he's got LM perfume, Laurent Maison, Floris, and I'm drawing a blank with names all of a sudden because he's got a lot. I'll flash some photos, of course, for you. You'll see what brands he has. But great collection. There I bought 2 fragrances. I bought LM Perfumes ALDHEYX. It's called ALDHEYX. I don't know if you know this brand, LM Perfumes, Laurent Maison. ALDHEYX is one of the cleanest fragrances I've ever smelled. So clean. It's like a clean laundry. Oh my god. But it's ALDHEYX is about aldehydes. I don't know if you know aldehydes. It's very clean and soapy to me, and this is exactly that. Clean and soapy. Very refreshing and fresh. So that's one I bought from there. The other one I bought from there is from PROFUMUM ROMA that I didn't have any left of, and it's BATTITO de Ale. I absolutely love this one. It's a gourmand with orange blossom, and I haven't opened it up yet. I haven't even used it yet because it's been a while since I picked it up, but I'm gonna really, really love this one. I absolutely love it. We'll put it to great use, and that's another one I bought at his shop. And Ricardo, as I said, is a great guy. If you go to Lisbon and you want to go perfume shopping, go to Embassy Niche Perfumery. The cool thing was, I didn't even know this, but when we booked hotel, I was like less than 700 meters away from my hotel. So I walked there, and I went there a couple times. And he also gave me this fragrance from ALEXANDREJ. It's their Oud Vanilla. He gave me this little mini. So I'm discovering this little brand. So that's what I did at his shop at Embassy Niche Perfumery. And in fact, in Lisbon, there's only 3 niche perfume shops there. So down the street from Embassy Niche Perfumery is a perfume shop called OUDH Perfumes. So I asked Ricardo, and he said it's right down. It's really easy. So it was really close. So I went there. I approached this place. It felt like I was approaching a nightclub. It had these kind of like velvet ropes hanging outside, and it kind of like felt a little uncomfortable trying to get in, because it's almost like you're going into a nightclub. It's very luxury decorated, very, very high-end boutique hotel-like, but you can see the perfumes displayed. As I was entering the shop, it was locked. They have to open it for you. So it felt a little uncomfortable getting into the perfume shop. So, I mean, I guess because I've never been there, I don't know who this is or who they are. So I went in. Of course, the sales associate is gonna ask you this and that and that and that, because when you know perfumes, you don't need help from the sales associate. You absolutely do not. And me personally, I want to be left alone. And I didn't feel very warmed up to these people. So I basically asked them what they have that's new, and they showed me a couple of different brands. And one brand I forgot the name of now, I'll flash a photo. But everything else they had in that store, I knew about. So I went to the Zerjoff section and I re-smelled something that I've been wanting to pick up. And I decided to pick it up this time. This is Zerjoff Naxos in the 100 ml bottle, and this is their new bottle. And it comes like this. It's very beautifully wrapped, and there's the bottle. So I have Naxos now, the luxury version of Pure Havane from what do you call it, Zerjoff. So I've been wanting this fragrance for a while. I bought this one from them at Otro. Glad I have it because now I can put this one to use. I absolutely been wanting to get it, and now I have it in their new bottle, and it smells identical to the old bottle, so I don't think it's been reformulated. So that was a good thing. I decided to buy the Naxos. Like I said, I've been wanting it for a while, and I finally have it. And it's a luxury version of Pure Havane. If you like Pure Havane and you want something a little more elevated, a little more luxury, this is it for you. So I explored Lisbon a lot more, went and had really good food, and just, you know, explored the city. Saw most of the sites, not all. And on my last day before we left the following day, I somehow ended up at their third niche perfume shop in the city called SKINLIFE. This was in a complete other neighborhood. It's more towards the city center, whereas where I was staying and Otro and Embassy Niche Perfumery were more on the outskirts. But this SKINLIFE was like right in the center. So I was walking in the center, and then I was like, oh, I think SKINLIFE is near here. I looked it up, and it turned out to be like really, really close to where I was, luckily. I guess I can smell perfume shops a mile away, but anyway, I went there, and basically what I saw there was all the big niche brands like MFK, Diptyque, Frederic Malle, by Kilian. All these brands were there, so I knew all of them. I really do not need to shop for those because I can buy them from here at my own sales associates, because I just don't need those. But I always look for something interesting and unique, so I looked at a couple of different brands that they were actually clearing out some brands, so that I didn't really have experience with. So one of them is Shay and Blue. So this one is Framboise Noir. I ended up buying it for a really great discount at their shop because they were clearing it out. They're not selling it anymore. And I really love the scent. And I was shocked at the price. 40 euros for 100 ml. It was so good. I really loved it, and I had to snatch it up because I'm a sucker for discounts, and this was a great discount. 40 euros, which converts to about $55 for niche perfume. I'm there. So Shay and Blue's Framboise Noir, and that one I picked up at SKINLIFE. And then the other one I picked up that they were actually, he said that, the sales associate said that they're clearing up brands that they're not selling much of. So the other brand, so Shay and Blue was one of them. I guess he said that it didn't work out with the Lisbon crowd, or I don't know, customers. The other one I bought was Mona Diorio's Musk. And as I was saying for a while, I'm really getting into musks a lot. And this one actually, even though it has a little bit of animalic touch to it, it's not that animalic. So Mona Diorio's new bottle, I think these are 75 ml bottles too. But it's a musk. It's a slightly animalic musk. A bit powdery as well, but really lovely. I think this was around 75 euros, which converts to about maybe $90, $95, almost $100. So it was a great deal. I had to snatch it up. So there's that. And then I didn't do any more perfume shopping in Lisbon because, you know, I didn't want to get too much. When I do my trips, I usually end up going to Paris. This time we didn't go to Paris at all. So I usually left perfume shopping to Paris because in Paris you get everything. But since I wasn't going to Paris, I was kind of like slowly acquiring things. And I also mentally made a note that I'm going to be shopping for perfumes when I get to Gatwick. So I wasn't buying a lot. So I ended up in Madrid after Lisbon. We took the train. I don't recommend the train actually, the overnight train. It's called the Hotel Train or Tren Hotel. don't recommend it at all. Not very luxury experience. In fact, I'm not into like ultra luxury. It's just felt very, very not worth it because first of all, the room, it's a room that you sleep in, has a shower and a toilet and everything. Hot, like so hot, they didn't know how to turn on the air conditioner. They didn't like turn down the heater. So it was boiling hot. Plus, me being the claustrophobe, it felt so claustrophobic in there because the heat is kind of like suffocating you. I had to leave. I had to leave the room and just sit outside at the cafe. No lights on, nobody there. It was a little bit frightening. But overall, it was an okay experience, just not high. I don't recommend this experience at all. So if you're planning on doing an overnight train, think twice before you do it. Fly there or drive there. It's like a 5-6 hour drive, but we decided to do the long. So you're spending one night in a hotel. I mean, you're spending one night in a train rather than a hotel. So it turned out that way it works out great, but still, I don't recommend it. So got to Madrid and I met up with Anna, who you saw a video I did with for Ombre Loop. So Anna and I were talking about perfumes and she was actually asking me if I knew about Adolfo Dominguez, who I know, and I've got a couple of fragrances of his. And she said, do you know the fragrance AZAHAR? This right here. This is the bottle right here. So this is all about orange blossoms, and I'm a huge orange blossom fan. I love the way orange blossoms smell, and of course using Middle Eastern cooking too. So this is an orange blossom fragrance. She said, you have to get a bottle, and I said, oh, okay, I don't even know about this fragrance. It's an old one, she said, but smells really wonderful. So she went and looked for it, and she said, oh, you know what? They're discontinued. They have a new version, but I think I found one at a perfume shop. I'm gonna get it, and she just bought it and gave me a bottle of it, which was very, very nice. Anna, thank you so much. And I do love this one, really lovely. Perfect orange blossom scent for summertime. I think it's gonna be perfect for summertime. And too bad it's discontinued because it smells great. And this is the box, AZAHAR is the name. I think I found it on Amazon for like $50 or $60, I can't remember now. But afterwards, I went and met up with Oliver, of Oliver & Co. We shot our video and him explaining his shop and his perfumes. And I ended up with a bar of soap of one of his fragrances, Vetiver, and I love Vetiver, of course. And then, of course, we also ended up with Amber Green. And Amber Green is ambergris. You know what ambergris is, right? Ambergris, ambergris, it's the whale poop. Not vomit, poop. But this is an ambergris and green fragrance. So, really, really lovely. Very fresh and refreshing, crispy green. If you like green fragrances, this is your cup of tea. So Amber Green from Oliver & Co. Great fragrance. And if you have not seen the video, please go check it out. And basically after that, all I did was went to another perfume shop in Madrid. Now I'm drawing the blank with the name of this one. I'll tell you later. But what I ended up buying there was another Profumum Roma called DULCIS and FUNDO. So I'm going with the gourmands here, as you can see. And Battito d'Ali is a gourmand with orange blossom, and here we have another gourmand. I think this is a boozy one with rum. I can't quite remember now. I smelled so much stuff there and all their perfumums. Now the reason I bought 2 perfumums on this trip is because we don't have access to perfumums where I live here in San Francisco. No one sells it. Hopefully CGO will get it. We'll see. But if not, I have to keep buying them in you know, other cities that I go to. Of course, I can order from Lucky Scent and places like that, but I like to smell them and experience them. So that's my thing. So that is the only other thing I bought in Madrid. As I said, I had some to buy in the Gatwick Airport, and I was waiting for that. But I mean, I went to a couple of designer shops, like regular perfume shops, and I kept going to their department store, El Corte Inglés, and I didn't find anything I really liked or wanted, so I just ended up not buying it, so I left it behind. And a couple of times I also went to El Corte Inglés in other cities. Like I went to El Corte Inglés in Madrid and I found some brands that we didn't have, like Boucheron's exclusive fragrances I discovered there. We don't have them here. I smelled them, I like their vanilla, and I like their, drawing a blank on the other one that I liked. The Neroli, I think. I'll have a photo of it. But everything I smelled I knew. In Madrid at the El Corte Inglés, their main flagship, El Corte Inglés, like the main store, has everything there. I sampled everything from the Carolina Herrera exclusives, which I had done before in Paris, but here they had it in this beautiful little department. You know what? It didn't really wow me the second time. They have the lighter Eau de Toilette collection in the exclusives as well. And the mint and the vetiver were really, really nice in that collection. I didn't buy any. The Mugler Exceptions collection also was there. And they had them all laid out. Beautiful little department. And they had all the refill bottles hanging from the above. So I've always wondered, where am I going to get my bottles refilled if I run out of the juice? Like the musk that I have from Mugler, I'm using up a lot, but they don't have them here, so it's a bummer. But I did see that in Madrid, so that was kind of unique. But you know, everything else is pretty much the same. All the fragrances are pretty much the same that we had, so I didn't really discover anything too new, if that makes sense. Finally left Madrid. I mean, Madrid is a great city. I really fell in love with Madrid and Lisbon. I love big cities. Very, very different cities. The food in Madrid is amazing, absolutely amazing. I love the food there. I mean, I love the food in Lisbon as well. Lots of seafood in Portugal, whereas more meats in Madrid. When I got to Gatwick Airport and I settled in, because we had like a 2.5-hour layover this time, I immediately went to the Jo Malone department, because when I got to Gatwick on the first part of the trip, I realized, or I found out, that at Gatwick you can buy Jo Malone, a 100ml bottle here that retails for 140 plus tax. There, with the conversion, under $100. The price was amazing. So one fragrance I've been eyeing for a while from there is Orange Bitters, and I ended up with a bottle, this limited edition. Last year they had it launched in a different bottle, this year in this plain bottle. But Orange Bitters, it's a kind of a sweet and woody orange, a little bit bitter. Really, really lovely orange fragrance. So I ended up buying this one, and as I said, retails with the conversion for like $97, which was awesome, because here it would be about $152 with tax. So got that. Now they had launched the Oud and Bergamot, the more extrait or the stronger versions, and they had a couple of different fragrances, but those were completely gone. I was going to get the Oud and Bergamot, gone. Can't get those, unfortunately. But I went to the Chanel department because they had the Chanel exclusives, and this was one that I learned from Beauty Meow. She was highly recommending it. So I ended up with number 18. This is all about ambrette. Ambrette seeds, musky, I don't know, just a very, very unique scent. It starts out kind of medicinal, which I actually like. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really love medicinal. It kind of just starts off kind of a bit medicinal, fruity, and it dries down to a fruity, kind of a floral, a little powdery, a little Chanel-like DNA, but gorgeous. It's just, I mean, it was a love at first sniff, because this is one that they don't display, even at the airport duty-free, they hadn't displayed it, and I asked for it, and they brought it from the back, and I'm absolutely falling in love with this. It's musky, and it's ambrette seeds, and it's fruity, floral, a bit powdery, as I said. Love, love, love that one. But I also wanted to pick up a couple of classics that I didn't have, that I found them to be a good deal. And of course, this is a very classic. This is ANTAEUS. It's a powerhouse. Not sure if it's still a powerhouse with the performance, but I wanted to get this. So finally have it. And of course, this you cannot get in the States. It's Chanel Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette. You can only buy the Eau de Parfum here in the States. And I wanted the Eau de Toilette because it's a gorgeous scent. It's classic. It's one of the first men's fragrances from Chanel. There it is. If you get a chance to go to Europe, you can buy this in Europe, but you just can't buy it here in the States, unfortunately. I don't understand why that is. You can get the Eau de Parfum here, like I said, not the Eau de Toilette. And finally, I went to the Issey Miyake department, and there I had noticed that they had the fragrance I bought last April called Noir Ombre. So I ended up buying another bottle. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this or sell it, but I bought it. I love this one. I have a bottle, of course. You've seen the review. If you haven't, check it out. But in the exclusives collection, or the more higher end collections, or the EDP collections they call them, they have a new one called Or Encens. And this is an incense dominant fragrance. So we have the amber here from Issey Miyake. Now we have the incense. So stay tuned for a review of this one very soon. I'm excited for this one. In fact, why don't I open it up here for the first time. And there it is. Or encens. I don't know why it's called or encens, meaning or incense. But we'll review it very soon. But let's smell it real quickly. It kind of has similar touches to this. There's a little bit of amberiness, but it's smoky. I mean, I'll have to test it out more, but it smells great. It also has a bit of a classic touch. Wow. Really, really lovely. Really lovely scent. But anyway, that is my haul. That's what I picked up. Not a lot, not like your typical hauls, but still a pretty big haul. I took a second suitcase so I can bring it back with me. Of course, I have to cushion it and everything. So yeah, I've never had a problem bringing back fragrance, and I'm glad this is it. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Have you tried any of these fragrances? Have you taken a trip like I've taken to Europe, explored all the different places I went to in Spain and Portugal, bought a bunch of perfumes and brought back? Let me know your thoughts, and let me know which of these ones that I brought back sound great to you. Do you like any of them? Do you have them? Do you hate them? Let me know so we can get a conversation started. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.